That message still chokes me to this day. It was there, on her phone, lying on the table, wide open for anyone to read. I kept thinking about yesterday, the way you moaned my name. The name wasn't saved, but I knew that number. It was her therapist's number. The same man who charged me a fortune by the hour. Hello, my name is Tom. I'm 48. And today I'm going to tell you how a psychologist destroyed my family. He used every detail of our life, every crisis, every wound, to seduce her, to take her to bed, to strip away everything I built throughout my life. But to this day, I still wonder, was it really him who seduced her? If you've ever trusted someone and they destroyed everything you built, leave a broken heart in the comments. That afternoon, she came back from therapy wearing a smile I hadn't seen in months. A loose smile, a satisfied one, a smile of pleasure, eyes lost in the horizon. That kind of smile only lovers know. She said she'd cried a lot during the session, but she felt relieved. It was intense, she said. And like a fool, I believed her. I thought it was the beginning of her healing. God, I was wrong. The next week, she started dressing up more. Red lipsticks returned to the dresser. Heels, buried deep in the closet, started making a comeback. That tight dress she never wore with me because she said it made her feel too exposed. She now wore it to therapy. And me? I saw it all, but I didn't want to see it. I wanted to believe it was self-esteem, personal growth, therapy doing its job. But deep inside, a voice screamed at me, "You idiot! Open your eyes! She's craving another man." And it wasn't just any man. It was him, the one who listened to everything she thought about me, our fights, my flaws. The nights she cried and I didn't know what to do. He knew, he listened, he wrote it down, and he used it. One day, she came home glowing, said she needed a hot shower, said the session had been intense, but what she didn't say was how filthy it had been. She tossed her phone on the armrest of the couch. It buzzed a few seconds later. The screen lit up. A voice message, no name, no icon, but I knew that number. I knew. God knows I knew. But I played it anyway. I can still taste your skin. That was it. Just that. But it was enough to kill everything inside me. I stood there, phone in my hand, mouth dry, heart locked in my chest. She was in the shower, washing the body he had touched just minutes before. And me? Time froze. I didn't know what to believe. I still doubted my eyes, doubted my own interpretation. I kept thinking about the beautiful family we built, the vacations, the family gatherings. I didn't want to believe it. I wanted to lie to myself, but I knew the truth. From that day on, something inside me died. But what remained was worse. It was the hate, silent, fierce, cynical. I didn't say a word. I didn't scream. I didn't explode. I just started looking at her with different eyes. I was still humiliated, destroyed, in the mud. But now my eyes saw the lies, the tactics, the emotions. Now I had the upper hand. He kept acting, making coffee, kissing my forehead, talking about the wonderful session as if she hadn't just left his scent on the doorknob. And me? I documented everything. I bought a recorder, hid it in her car, activated a GPS tracker on her phone, spent sleepless nights listening to audios, trying to piece together what was left of my dignity. One day, I saw a charge on the credit card. A hotel, 3 hours, middle of the afternoon, and it wasn't the first time. She said the session ran long, said she cried a lot. The truth? She was moaning in another room with another man, a man who knew every one of her wounds because I handed them to him, because I trusted him. She started coming out of the shower in lingerie I'd never seen before. Said she bought them on impulse. God, how I hated myself. I wanted to scream, to expose that liar. To this day, I regret never exploding. And still, every night she'd lie next to me, sleep peacefully, while I mapped out hell, every detail, every lie, every step. And the more I saw, the quieter I got, the more I hated myself. But revenge needs silence and time, and I had both. I chose our anniversary. She got all dressed up, wore a perfume I'd never smelled on her before, said she wanted to talk after dinner, and I let her. Of course I did. I even wished her good luck, with a smile she didn't even realize was a warning. I played the part all day, joked with the kids, laughed with friends, but inside, I was lighting the fuse. That night, I set the table, opened the wine, cooked her favorite meal. She looked happy, at peace, like life was just right, like I was the fool she could keep fooling forever. After dinner, she went to the bathroom, looked at herself in the mirror, applied the lipstick he liked. I waited, calm, calculated. My phone already connected to the living room TV. She came back smiling, sat down, and said, "I think I'm ready to talk about us." That's when I hit play. The audio echoed through the room. "I can still taste your skin." She froze. The wine glass in her hand started shaking. The lipstick she had just put on looked like blood. She screamed, jumped up, tried to turn off the TV. She couldn't. She threw the whole thing on the floor, like that would erase it. I stood up, walked slowly toward her, and with the calmest voice I've ever had, I said, "I know everything. I saw everything. I recorded everything. Now talk. Tell me everything, or I'll show the rest to you and to your parents." She tried to lie, tried to cry, tried to twist the story, tried to blame me. What a nerve. And when she said, "It's not what it looks like," I laughed, an empty laugh, broken, cold, cruel. "You think I'm stupid? You think the man who stood by your side all these years is just some fool?" And before she could say another word, I laid down my final card. Photos, screenshots, timestamps, receipts, everything, face to face with the truth. She cried, but I didn't feel sorry. I felt relief, as if I had vomited the poison that had been killing me slowly. She screamed, begged for forgiveness, dropped to her knees on the living room rug, cut herself on the broken TV screen. But I didn't feel a thing, because the next step wasn't about her. It was about him. The next day, I walked into his office like I was just booking a session. The receptionist offered me coffee. I sat down, calm, head low, breathing controlled, back aching from carrying all that hatred. When he showed up at the door and called my name, "Tom?" he looked at me like I was just another man dealing with a marital crisis. He had no idea he was about to face his own sentence. I sat on the couch, waited for him to speak. "How can I help you?" he said, with that calm, fake voice of his, the voice of someone pretending to care. I took a deep breath, pulled my phone from my pocket, placed it on the table, and then, with a cold, firm voice, I said, "You don't need to help me. You just need to listen. The same way I listened to you, moaning my wife's name. The same way I heard her say she only climaxes with you now." He froze, tried to keep his composure, tried that old psychology mirror trick. "Let's talk about your feelings, Tom." But no, this time it was about his. I stood up and dropped a folder on the table. Photos, hotel timestamps, messages, and on top of it all, the best part, a formal complaint filed with the Regional Psychology Council, with every attachment, all the recordings, every detail of the relationship between patient and therapist. A relationship professionally, ethically, and criminally destroyed. He turned pale, tried to speak, but his tongue was locked. And me? I smiled, not because it hurt less, but because for the first time, it hurt him. Before leaving, I looked him straight in the eye and said, "You destroyed my family. Now I've destroyed your credibility. And you know what's best? I did it all without even raising my voice." But right then, I lost it. I stood up and landed a dry punch to his face. He fell off the couch, and I couldn't help myself. I said it loud enough for the whole reception to hear. "Is this how you heal your patients? Taking them to bed while charging by the hour?" I know I shouldn't have hit him, but God, it felt good. It was liberating. I don't regret it, not for a second. If anything, I regret not doing it sooner. They drifted apart. Each went their own way. She went to stay with her mother for a few months, then disappeared. She never truly apologized, never faced what she did. Maybe she thinks it was love. Maybe she just can't face her own reflection. He lost his license to practice. The clinic let him go, quietly. The board opened a formal investigation. It's still ongoing. Some of his patients disappeared. Others sent anonymous messages thanking me. But none of that rebuilds what I lost. The house felt hollow. Our bedroom turned into storage. My daughter, still too young to understand, she asks why mommy doesn't have dinner with us anymore. And I lie, just like I lied to myself for so long. Today, I sleep more peacefully, but never in peace. There are nights when the silence in the house is louder than any scream, and the pillow still knows the shape of my tears, but I'm standing, breathing. And for me, that's already a victory. If you've ever loved someone who shattered you, if you ever trusted someone who used your weaknesses against you, then you know, the pain doesn't end when it's over. It lingers, it throbs, it burns. But one day, it becomes a scar, and you breathe again. If this story touched something inside you, leave a comment below. I'm still standing, because even if your voice still shakes, even if your heart still bleeds, you're standing, and that already makes you invincible.